Welcome to the sixth episode of the Harvard Extension School Psychology Student Club. I'm your host, Kimia Grigoriev, and I'm so excited to have Miss Gwen Mdinaradze join us to speak about her amazing work and experiences and journey as a Harvard Extension School student. And she's so accomplished. We are so honored to have her here today with us. I've had wonderful things from professors about her, and we just wanted to make sure that we get her on our podcast and we get to learn a little bit more about her so our audience, our members, can be inspired and learn from what she does. Gwen, can you please introduce yourself a little bit and tell us about your wonderful work?
Hello, Harvard Extension School Psychology Student Club, and thank you so much, Kimia. You're very kind. I run Speakers Alliance Canada, an international training and consulting company based in Toronto. I'm also the founder of JANO, Joint Alliance of Networking and Outsourcing, a platform where invited professionals can join, network, and brainstorm. And I do my master's in industrial and organizational psychology at Harvard Extension School.
That's so wonderful. And can I ask a little bit more about your background and what inspired you to be the founder for the Speaker Alliance in Canada?
My journey has always been about a love for learning and seeing how it can make a real difference. And over the years, I've worked in organizational psychology and consulting. That's what I do at Speakers Alliance Canada. And I've seen how strong communication and good leadership can completely transform teams. I did my first course at Harvard Business School online in 2019, and seeing so many HBS online learners from different parts of the world coming together and me featuring business professionals, professors, executives to inspire global community, it made me think that, I could create a platform where we would not be another consulting firm, but I wanted to create a space where people and organizations could grow, connect, and really tap into their potential. And at Speakers Alliance Canada, it's all about helping leaders build confidence, form meaningful connections, and really tackle challenges with a clear plan. So what we do is we design educational initiatives like workshops, keynote presentations, training to help leaders realize their struggle and turn their vision into something they can act on. And I wanted to help bridge that gap and make a real impact. So this is what we do. We support HR executives, C-suite executives, and large organizations to transform their organizations to make meaningful and long-term changes.
That's amazing. And I heard that you kind of got it started all during the time that everyone, was struggling. It was during the COVID era. So that's really wonderful that you got it going and it's doing great. And I'm wondering, how is this experience maybe has benefited from your education at Harvard Extension School, and how it has affected your career path and professional growth?
Oh, that's a great question, Kimia. My time at Harvard Extension School has been such a game changer for both my career and how I see things. And you know how challenging the coursework is here, especially when many of us are working full time. We have families, we take care of our elderly parents, and we have many other commitments. So it's a challenge, but the most important thing is having world-class professors like Dr. Lee Bowman, Dr. Mukul Kumar, Dr. Bobby Wagner. Those professors are world-class educators, and we're so lucky, and I'm so lucky to be in their classrooms. What stood out the most for me was the diversity of thought. I was constantly learning from classmates. I'm part of many WhatsApp chats that we're constantly chatting, no matter the location. And those classmates came from all kinds of industries and cultures that really opened my eyes to how leadership works on a global scale, because we have clients from all over the world, and we have educators from Canada, the United States, and the United Kingdom. And this experience also shaped my belief in the importance of lifelong learning and has had a direct impact on how I approach my work at Speakers Alliance Canada and at Jano. And, it's also where I get better at taking academic ideas and after each class, I learn something new. After each class or the conversation with a professor or my classmate, I get an idea to implement at Speakers Alliance Canada or at Jano or at Harvard Business School Online, where I lead a global chapter. So that's like all of them are connected to each other, and I'm very excited and I'm grateful, first of all, to be the part of the Harvard Extension School and the community.
Thank you. And we're so glad that you're part of it too, because I know you've done great things at Harvard Extension School too, and you were part of the student association. I remember you were
Yeah.
part of that group too. So thank you for your contribution as well to the school and also to Harvard Business School. And just because of your experiences, I was wondering if you can kind of share a little bit more about challenges that you faced when starting Speaker Alliance Canada, and how did you overcome them? Because I know a lot of people run into a lot of issues, especially when you're starting a business, especially when you started at a difficult time like in COVID era. So how was your experience? How did you overcome them?
It's a great question, Kimia. Thank you. The other day I was reading Barack Obama's speechwriter, Terry Suplat's book, Say It Well, and one of one part really stood out to me, where he talks about how groups like women, LGBTQ individuals, and immigrants often face extra, scrutiny or get questioned more than others. And he encourages all of us to speak louder and with confidence, to own their stories and to share our perspectives louder and with more confidence. And, it's such a powerful reminder of the importance of finding our voices and most importantly, to using it to make an impact. When I was charting Speakers Alliance Canada, it definitely came with a lot of challenges. One of the biggest challenge was finding our uniqueness in such a competitive market. And it took a lot of thinking, a lot of reflection. Um, there were definitely moments of self-doubt, as many entrepreneurs and founders face. And I was, thinking if Speakers Alliance Canada's approach of combining academic insights with practical solutions would really resonate. Because there were other consulting companies with over 30 years of experience. And another hurdle was building trust, especially when working with top level executives who expect nothing but excellence from the start. And then the pandemic hit. So everything, all the challenges came together. I was the woman entrepreneur. I was immigrant, knowing no one in Canada except my husband. And then we got the pandemic. But I made the priority to listen to potential clients and really understand their specific needs, and then to tailor solutions to address their challenges directly. And I also made sure that we would bring the best customer service and we would do exactly what they were looking for. I decided to do pre and post service survey so we could measure, right, as we do at HES in many courses. When we work on papers, then we can measure the success of our services. And, over time, through word of mouth and programs that deliver real results, then we get a lot of repeated clients. And that's how we build reputation as a trusted partner for organizations around the world. So I'm really happy, lucky to be working with world world-class executives, chief human resources officers, CEOs to help them design educational programs for their people, for their organizations to perform better.
That's amazing work that you do. I'm really impressed, and I would love for the students to hear this and get inspired by the work that you've done already. And I'm sure you're going to do many more great things as you hopefully graduate and just you just started and you're already doing great. But I was reading about your PDC formula, and I was wondering if you can tell me a little bit more about that and how it benefits startups or founders.
The PDC formula came to my mind when I did my first course at Harvard Business School online. So, PDC formula is about plan, disrupt, and communicate. And it's something I wanted to develop from my experience working with startups and in consulting. I know a lot of startup founders are struggling. They need some sort of structure to follow. It's a simple, practical framework to help founders deal with, uncertainty, challenges, and to set a solid foundation for growth. The first component is plan, which means to create a clear roadmap. It's not just setting goals, but it's about thinking ahead, anticipating challenges, and making sure resources are aligned effectively. And second component is disrupt. And Harvard Business School late professor Clayton Christensen had a huge impact on my thinking when I was developing the formula. In today's world, standing still is not an option, especially when you're founding the company. This step, disrupt, is about finding ways to innovate, challenge the usual way of doing things, and stand out from the competition to be just different from your competitors. And finally, it's all about communication. Even the best plans can fail without clear communication. And this step is meant to foster trust, inspiring the teams, and not to communicate only with the team members, but also with the stakeholders and competitors about what makes you to be unique. So I feel like those three components have been fundamental in shaping Speakers Alliance Canada. Starting from my first course at Harvard Business School online until today, I feel like those components have been very important to Speakers Alliance Canada's success.
That's amazing. And I know you're a student at Harvard Extension School and Harvard Business School, but you're not just a student there. You're also the global chapter organizer for Harvard Business School Online, which is amazing. And I don't know if you can tell us a little bit more and what are the initiatives that you're currently involved in?
So the first course I did at Harvard Business School Online was in 2019, Management Essentials. And then in total, I did 5 courses there and 3 programs. So they have programs of specialization, like specialization in strategy, specialization in leadership and management. There are different types of specializations you can earn if you complete number of courses. So I did 5 courses and 3 specializations. And one of them was core, which is one of the pathways to the Harvard Extension School. And when I did my first course in 2019, I was an immigrant, as I said, and I didn't know anyone in Canada except my husband. And I was sitting and thinking, that's a great way to gain knowledge through world-class university, but I wish I could connect with other HBS Online learners. But at that time, HBS Online was offering in-person chapters, like every city or country would have its in-person chapter, but there was not any virtual or global chapter at all. So I reached out to the marketing team and I decided to kind of contribute to expand the global community because at that time we were almost 500 students taking management essentials course. And I was so sad what happens when the program is done. I want to keep in touch with those HBS online learners. And that's how Global Chapter was born. And as a global chapter organizer, my main focus is creating opportunities for lifelong learners like myself and meaningful connections with the Harvard Business School online community. Now, today, we are over 5,000 members worldwide. One initiative I'm especially proud of is organizing events where HBS online learners come together just to network, to share ideas, to get to know each other. And I do this quite frequently. And the events can be anything from industry specific roundtables to leadership development workshops to networking gatherings. One of the featured guests was a former senior advisor to President Barack Obama, Anton Gunn. We got over 300 attendees at that time, and it was a huge success. Anton Gunn spoke about his work with President Obama, and it was just huge success. And then I do a lot of themed initiatives like International Women's Day, Black History Month, and that's how the community is built. Now we are over 5,000 people. And as you mentioned, I'm also passionate about integrating diversity, equity, and inclusion into everything we do. And whether it's at HBS Online or Speakers Alliance Canada, make sure that every voice is heard and valued is so important for creating impactful conversations. And on top of that, I'm exploring how we can use technology to make these programs, these educational programs in networking gatherings more accessible to a wider audience so our global community stays connected and engaged no matter where they are located.
I'm really impressed by how you created basically the global chapter for the HBS online school and mentioning the diversity, equity, and inclusion. How do you use that in your practice?
That's a great question. Thank you. DEI is at the heart of my consulting work. And I truly believe that creating inclusive environments isn't just the right thing to do. It's also critical for an organization's success. And my approach focuses on integrating DEI into every part of an organization, whether it's leadership development, team dynamics, or hiring practices. And it all starts with listening, right? Getting to know the unique challenges and perspectives within a team. And at Speakers Alliance Canada, we offer customized DEI programs. And I said customized because we do surveys, we gather data, we analyze the data to better understand how can we customize the program to be suited for that particular organization, for any size of organization. And from there, we collaborate with HR executives and C-suite to create strategies that promote equity and respect. For example, I worked with organizations to redesign their recruitment process to attract more diverse talent and developed workshops to address unconscious bias. And the goal is to make DEI a natural part of the organization's culture so that the positive organizational culture is, build and expand, and everyone feels empowered to contribute and succeed.
I feel like everyone that works in your company is really lucky, and it's really great to have you, make sure that DEI is included naturally, like you mentioned. Not because sometimes it feels really artificial, but I'm glad that you brought up the naturally part of it. So, of all the amazing things you've done for your future goals, what are your future goals for Speaker Alliance and Jono?
That's a wonderful question. For Speakers Alliance Canada, my main goal is to expand our reach while staying true to our commitment to excellence. That means using technology to offer more virtual programs, working with new industries, and continuing to adapt our services to meet the changing needs of our clients. As I said, our educators are in Canada, the US, and in the UK, but our clients are in all over the world. So we need to adapt and learn technology to better serve our global clients. We can do in-person educational events to travel to different parts of the world, but I also want to make it more flexible for the client so they can take advantage of the services we offer. I'm also passionate about deepening our impact by focusing more on areas like psychological safety and team cohesion, which are topics I care about deeply. I believe that team cohesion is built on trust, and trust is through psychological safety. For Jano, my vision is for it to become a global hub for thought leaders and innovators. It's an invitation only global community. And I want it to be a place where professionals from all kinds of industries can come together, share ideas, collaborate, and create meaningful change. And Jano was the first name of my late father, and is the short form of Joint Alliance of Networking and Outsourcing. And my father had a true passion for connecting with people, and creating Jano was my way of honoring his legacy.
That's amazing. I didn't know that. That's so sweet. That I love that. And so, how do you see the role of organizational psychology evolving in the next few years?
Oh, that's a great question. And I get this question a lot of times. I'm a part of the Human Resources Professional Association. And when I go to different events and conferences, I get this question all the time. Organizational psychology is more important than ever as workplaces deal with challenges like hybrid work, mental health issues, and rapid changes in technology, right? I think it's evolving to focus more on adaptability, resilience, and creating workplaces that put people first. I want to stress this: people first. That's a very important topic for our clients. And that's why I mentioned that psychological safety is so important. It boosts organizational culture, positive organizational culture, and it put people first. For instance, there's a bigger push to understand how to build psychological safety in remote teams or design work environments that support well-being without losing productivity. Organizational psychologists are going to be key in shaping the future of work by finding the balance between what employees need and what organizations want to achieve. So again, psychological safety, um, and people first. That's what's very important for any size of organization if they want to succeed.
I'm really glad to see that it's growing because I feel like having that business side to things, but plus adding the psychology side to things and making sure people first is there, I think that's incredible. And I love to hear that it's growing and um, great to see that people are taking it seriously. So, because I think that's what we need, especially
Right.
for the health of many of our workers, because everybody deserves to, live in a or work in an environment that doesn't hurt their mental health either. So I'm really glad to hear everything you said right now. And from your amazing experiences, what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs looking to make an impact in their industries?
My biggest advice is to always stay connected to your why. Entrepreneurship can be tough and is tough, and knowing your purpose is what will keep you going on the hard days. One of the best professors at Harvard Extension School, Dr. Mukul Kumar, taught me the importance of purpose, happiness, and well being. Another important thing is to know that shy away from taking risks and learning from failures. Every mistake is a chance to grow and improve. And entrepreneurship general, can be tough, especially post-pandemic. And it's also so important to surround yourself with people who inspire and challenge you, whether it's mentors, peers, classmates, colleagues, team members. Having the right network can make all the difference. And lastly, maybe, be patient with yourself. Success does not happen overnight. And be mindful, be patient, and at the same time, with consistency and determination, it will come for sure.
That's wonderful advice. And how do you maintain a balance between your professional responsibilities and personal growth? Because I know that's pretty tough.
That's very tough. I have three kids, under six, and balancing professional and personal growth is something I'm constantly working on. I've learned the importance of setting boundaries and focusing on what truly matters. I never had time for self-care, I'll be honest. But after being a student with Dr. Mukul Kumar at Harvard Extension School and taking his class, The Science of Happiness and Well-being, I realized the importance of flow, purpose, happiness, and well-being. And as a result, I promised myself, and I'm doing pretty well right now, that self-care plays a big role for me, whether it's practicing mindfulness or spending quality time with family and friends. Self care has to be number one priority for everyone. We have to take care of ourselves so then we can take care of our loved ones. And also make sure to prioritize continuous learning because it fuels both my personal and professional growth. I love learning, whether it's taking courses, reading, or connecting with my network. Staying curious keeps me motivated because then I can do even more for community, for my network, for my company. And in the end, I've realized that balance is not about splitting time evenly. It's about being present and intentional with whatever I'm doing.
That's great advice for all of us. And honestly, I've noticed that successful people are always studying, are always learning. And I see exactly what you said. So I can understand where your success is coming from and hopefully more success to you in the future as well. But before we wrap it up, is there anything else that you would like to add that maybe I haven't covered?
Well, I just wanted to thank you so much for this opportunity to be featured here in this podcast. I would love the opportunity to share my experience and knowledge with the Harvard Extension School Psychology Student Club. And kudos to you because you're doing such an important job for entire Harvard community. Without you, I don't think this could be done, right? We should um, you know, keep focused to expand the community. So we share knowledge, experience, we expand network, and that's what you're doing. So I just wanted to thank you so much for doing what you're doing for the Harvard Extension community.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I can see the same thing about you since you're also doing that for Harvard Business School. But thank you. I appreciate it. And I know you're very busy. And so just that you gave us this time to be here with you and speak with you, I really appreciate it. And I
My
hope we can have you back again and maybe we can do in-person events hopefully in the future. But thank you for being here. And I wish you much success, more than you already have. And I hope that we can get to collaborate again in the future.
I would love that. Thank you so much, Kimia.